are going to be making a very new soap, very, very, very new. And the technique that I'm using is very new as well. I actually made the water that I'm going to use, which is this aloe vera leaf powder, freeze-dried water. So, well, freeze-dried powder water, and it's pretty brown. So I'm going to add Moringa leaf powder, which is extremely potent. It's very, very powerful for the skin and the body as well. I have my essential oil blend here of lemongrass, sweet orange, and eucalyptus. Very first time using that blend. And then of course I have my clays and my milks. I'm going to actually, I've already melted my oils. Here are my oils, and they're nicely golden brown melted. And I'm going to check the temperature real quick. Okay, they're at 114, perfect temperature. I'm so excited. And then let me just splash this a little bit because my spoon is all the way over there. And this is at 119, which is awesome. So I'm going to transfer my oils into this container so that you guys can have a more clear vision. I'm going to move my recipe out of the way because I don't need it anymore. I have everything already pre-poured and melted and put together. So let's pour. Whenever you're pouring from one container to the other, it's always good to take your time, especially if it's a lot in the container. Really, really important because y'all, I have this thing where I just always spill. I go so fast because the container is either super hot or super heavy. And I try to pour it real fast. I always think I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 10 years or 11 years now. And I just think I have it all together, but I forget every single time about that. Even when pouring it into the molds, if it's just one color, oh my gosh, I would pour it and it splashes over the edge of the container. So you don't want to lose that batch, or not that batch, but that amount of your recipe. So you just want to always be really careful. So okay, I have my oils and I'm getting as much as I can out of this pot. You're not going to get it all out, just know that, but get as much as you can. You want to squeegee it out with your silicone spatula. Looks pretty good. And guys, I cannot find my mask. I don't know where it is. So I do have my goggles on, just so you can see. I do have those on, and that's always a good thing. All right, I'm ready to go. If you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. So the first thing, I'm going to wait to throw my Moringa powder in here because I want to see what this brown water, aloe vera leaf powder water, is going to do to the color. Because I kind of want to do a kind of swirly action thingy, but I'm not sure. So we have to see how much this is going to change the color, and then we'll see. So let me go ahead and blend up my milks and clays into my oils. Curious to see what this does in terms of the water. Excuse me. All right. I was eating some popcorn just a while ago. Jeez. You know when that one little piece just itches your throat, it's like stuck. That is what's happening. I don't want to cough because I don't have my mask on. All right, so that to the side. Now, let's look and see what this color is actually going to do on its own. So if I wanted to, I can take this, separate it, and add white to it, which I think I'm going to do to lighten it up. Then I'll do a separate separation for the Moringa, because I do want to make a pretty soap, y'all. All right, so for my white, where are my small containers? Oh my gosh. Oh well, we'll use this, which is what I have it for anyway. So I'm going to take some and I'm going to separate it. It's already emulsified. We're going to blend it just a little bit more. I may just pour the fragrance in there as well, because this fragrance does not act, it doesn't go fast. So we'll go ahead and do all of the fragrance in there, which I probably shouldn't have done, because the orange is going to be, the lemongrass and the sweet orange is going to turn it yellowish. Darn it, but it's okay. Maybe we won't separate, we'll see. And remember, this is just a test batch. I just wanted to test to see what will happen, because this is my first time making the aloe vera leaf juice powder. So we want to see what scent and everything, so that's why I'm just doing one little small batch just to test it out. All right, so it gives me a nice light brown color. And if I was making a complete herbal bar, then that would be great, but I was thinking it was going to give me some specks. I don't see any specks. I really wanted those specks, but oh well. We'll see once it sets up and it dries, if I have specks in there or not. All right, so I'm just going to separate a little bit, just for the pouring. And I'm going to lighten this one up with my titanium dioxide. All right, let's see what that does. And then we'll put the Moringa in the rest. I know you guys can't see, but it looks like a chocolate, a light chocolate milk. Pretty light. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't want to overdo it, but it's a really nice light cream color. I might just add some more. Let me add a little bit more, guys. It's behaving pretty well, but I know I don't have a lot of time, so I'm not going to play around with that at all. I don't want it to tilt over either. It's acting like it wants to fall. So I just put the rest of my TD in there, just to lighten it up. It smells good. It smells really good. So now I'm going to add my Moringa and see what happens when I add that. And then we will pour and do our tops. Okay. So I'm gonna just sit this to the side, bring this back here, and here's my Moringa. So I don't know if it has a sugar content in it. I don't know that much about Moringa, but I'm gonna stir it in a little bit first. I don't wanna get poofed by the powder. And let's see what happens in terms of colors with this. All right. Okay, let's get to blending. I may even do it in the pot swirl. I think that's what I'm going to do. I want to get all these clumps out of here because I don't want to see them. Now I'm probably shaking my camera. It's waiting, it's setting up, but it's waiting, and I love that. That gives me time to do stuff. I make sure all those lumps and clumps are out of there. So it gave it, I think I'm going to add a little bit of my green to it. Just a tad bit because I want it, the chromium, oh shoot. Let's see how much I'm going to add. Just 2 teaspoons. I want it to give me a kind of army-ish green, if that makes sense. That's what I was hoping for. There we go. That's the green I was hoping for. Yes. That is the green I was hoping for. Her right there. Okie dokie, guys, I love it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and do an in the pot swirl, and let's see what happens. And I'm going to grab another spatula just so that I can mix this creamier color. Need one. It's kind of dark, but and this one is still nice and fluid. That is awesome. That's the consistency you want for in the pot swirl, in my opinion. Just because you don't want the colors to bleed together. So let's go. Guys, believe it or not, I've had this little pour spout thingy for a while, for some years, and I've never used it. I'm going to save some for the tops as well, but I've never used it. I think that's enough for the tops. so within the pot swirl, you take your spatula and you go in a figure 8. You go into one of the colors and you just kind of go in a figure 8. You do not want to stir it. Trust me, you'll be so mad if you did. And you don't want to overdo it. So now let's go ahead and, so as you can see, here's our, I don't want to move it too much, guys, but that's for in the pot swirl, and we are going to go ahead and pour it. Get this stuff out of the way. Let me go this way so you guys can actually see it. Oh, this is a pretty green color. Okay. Guys, it really smells good. Like really, really smells amazing. The eucalyptus was the heavier scent that I added, and it's all made with essential oils. So what I'm going to do, I'm definitely going to reformulate this because my soaps are tall, and even though this will still give me a good, you know, height, I always want it to the top. So I'm just going to drizzle that, kind of make it fall in there. It's a good amount in there. So I'm going to clean this out real quick. Make sure I got all my soap. No soap left behind. And that's going to allow me to have a little fun on the tops. To have that much. And guys, I clean these things out as good as I can, especially if it's not going to set up really fast on me. I'm definitely, I am not wasting my soap. This stuff is expensive to make over and over again. So you can't waste. And I have a lot of soaps to make. So wasting ingredients is just not my thing. All right. Need my spoon. So what I'm going to do now, my tops are still fluid, and normally I would go ahead and do my tops. Let me see. Nope, they're way too loose, so I'm going to come back. Okay, so now we are ready to do our tops. I believe I need to be going this way, because instead of the normal from the long side, because when I cut my bars, I cut them, I should get 2 full rows out of this plus a sample, or maybe 3 full rows, we'll see. But the waves don't need to be going that way on the top of the soap, so you'll understand once you see it. Here we go. It's still kind of soft, but I'm letting it flop over as much as I can. And of course, I don't want to muddy up the soap at all. And then when I'm done with this, I'm going to put it between something so that these two sides can kind of come back together. And then it'll give me the height that I desire. So I'm just doing, this is why I changed molds, because it doesn't really give me a lot of freedom to do my tops the way I would normally do them. So with this mold, these are kind of like a over pour mold. If I have too much of a batter in the main molds, which they're like the 30-pound, well, 25 to 30-pound molds that I have, they're custom made. But if I have a recipe that gives me way too much, I can always pour the rest into this mold and still get some bars out of here. Normally I have peace soap, the lemongrass soap, the royal soap, I think that's it, and strong. Normally they would do that, so I would have, you know, they're kind of large batches, you know, purposely I need them to be that large. All right, so here it is, our new aloe vera, or aloe and moringa. I'm just going to say aloe, not aloe vera, but aloe and moringa soap. Here she is, and you can see how it kind of it pushes out to the side, but that's not a problem. I put it right between something that I made to hold them. All right, guys, so thank you so much for watching this soap. Depending on how it comes out tomorrow, I want to see what it looks like, but more than likely I will make a full batch because I absolutely love the way it smells. I love I really love the way it smells. I love the blend. I love how it looks so far in terms of the color, and I love the quality of the texture. The texture looks like it's not too, you know, thin. It's not one of those soaps that'll stay soft. It's going to set right up really well, and I think I'll be batching this again, but in the larger capacity, in my normal size. So I will come with the cutting video and a few, and then we'll go from there, and then it'll be ready in 30 days. Well, 30 to 40 days. I think I'm gonna let this one sit a little bit longer. I don't know what's going to happen with the color either, so that's another thing. I did add the hydrated chromium green oxide to it, and also the moringa to turn it into that green color. So we'll see what happens once the oxygen hits it. I don't know what's going to happen, so that's another thing. We'll see what happens. All right, so we'll be back. Okay, we are now back, and this is the loaf that I made. You can see I kind of opened the mold a little too soon. It's a very soft batch. It came out a lot lighter than I wanted, but remember we did an in the pot swirl with this one. So the next time around, I'm going to definitely add some, I'm going to add, what do you call it? Activated charcoal or black iron oxide. And then I'm going to make it a little bit darker green, because that's really what I want with the cream. So let's get started and let's see what we have. Okay, not bad, really pretty. So I'm just laying these over here for now. It's actually a pretty nice green color. I like it, but it's really soft. So, just messed that up. What I'm going to do the next time around is add a little bit more butter to the recipe. I'm going to add some cocoa butter to it, and I'm going to add a little bit more shea, no mango, just because. But I think it still came out really nice. Okay, now this last one, I'm going to try to get it on the 1 inch mark. I don't know if it's even worth it. It's just going to cut off a little bit, and then the rest I will shave it off. Guys, when I say this is very soft, it is very soft. And of course those ends will get off of there as well. Alright, so we're going to change this out and get my multi-cutter. Well, no, we actually cut this one with this one. Oh Lord, I would have messed that all up. Would have had a whole bunch of samples. So I'm going to actually cut this one, cut them. I should kind of wait, but I'm not going to. I think I'm a pro at this by now. I know my boundaries. All right, so now I'm going to cut them into the actual bars. One would probably ask, why don't you do them all at once? I don't know. I don't know. So as an example, I would have to shave this back part off just a tad if I want to have it as one complete bar. You may ask, why don't I cut these with the multi-cutter? Because with the multi-cutter, it'll cut them into chunks. You don't want that long rectangle chunks. And I definitely don't want that. I want to actually be able to use these bars. So all in all, I think they came out pretty nice. I will keep the in the pot swirl with these. I want to batch them for real because it actually sets up. It takes a while for it to set up, you know, with all the other. And so if I were to cut them with the multi-cutter, they'll all come out like this, and we don't want that. So I'll cut this in half for a sample, and we can keep it moving. All right, so let's cut the next one. Okay. So this is, oh, I just keep hitting all the edges, y'all. So this one would be an even better bar. And I would have to trim the ends, those two end pieces that kind of got left in the mold. I tried to paste it back on, but that didn't work. So, and that's the joy, the treacherous joy of soaping with silicone. If you have a soft batter, then you run the risk of messing up the edges, the sides, and you can waste a lot of product that way, which I am not a fan of. And when I first got started, of course, those were the molds that I was using. And the sun comes out, but these are really pretty, guys. I like it. I like it a lot. Really, really pretty. All right, so let's cut this last one into a sample. And these are pretty thick samples. All right, let's clean her up a little bit. We have one more to go. But I'm excited about adding this to the collection, to our arsenal of soaps that we have. And I have another one that I'm going to be soaping hopefully soon. can't even see if I'm showing you guys. It's so light in here, so light and bright. Then we would have to just trim the back a little bit. Shave it rather. So yeah, this is what happens when you soap with a ton of soft oils. It will get hard. It's just going to take a little bit longer. That's all. Then maybe by next week I should be able to stamp them without, you know, leaving everything or risking everything to, you know, just to get a stamp in there. We don't want to do that. We don't want to risk messing up each bar by trying to stamp them early and being impatient. All right, so that is it. I'm going to clean this up, and then I'll show you guys the final bars. So here they are. You guys keep in mind this is a test batch. They weren't meant to be perfect. What I'm looking for mainly is the quality of the actual batter, the recipe, how the soaps come out, what they do, how they behave, what is the final product. So all in all, I think we have a winner. I'm just going to add more darkness to it, more green. I want it to be a lot more in depth. I don't want it to be so light. But I think they came out pretty darn cool. The sun is coming in and out, y'all. And we're going to add more shea butter and actually add cocoa butter to it. All right, so thanks for watching. These will be ready in 30 days. I will place the good ones on the site, but by then, hopefully I should have the second real batch of much more soaps made. Thanks for watching.